James Cleveland Interviews, KingSolomonEntertainment.tv, as well as Instagram, King Solomon Entertainment, as well as Twitter, King Solomon Entertainment, and Facebook, King Solomon Entertainment. Today is another interview with Hollywood Now, where we interview today's most influential Hollywood stars. And today we have a wonderful guest, Miss Dominique Whitney. Thank you so much.
Hey, James, how you doing?
Huh?
How you doing?
Everything is great. Everything is great.
Good.
So I want to start by introducing...
You ain't have to use my last name now.
Okay, Dominique, thank you for the correction. Dominique. And just, I want to start off by letting you know that you're a comedian and you've been in the game for over 20, 25 years, and just give an intro of who you are and what you do in Hollywood.
I'm a comedian, I'm an actress. I'm from DC. I've been doing comedy, like you said, 25 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you get started in like wanting to be a comedian or wanting to be a Hollywood star?
Oh, I started out, I just went to an open mic in DC. Well, actually in Maryland, you know, if you know anything about the metropolitan area, DC and Maryland are very close. So I just went to an open mic. I didn't get a lot of laughs, but I got enough laughs, you know, to make me stay and, you know, to keep coming back. So that's basically where that started. And then a few years later, I moved to New York, and then stayed in New York a while, 7, 8 years. And then I moved to Los Angeles.
How was New York? Is the comedy circuit different in New York?
Absolutely. The comedy circuit is different. You could, in that era anyway, in the 90s, you could work. You could really, really work a lot and really hone your craft, in my opinion, in New York. You could do 2 and 3 clubs a night with with the size of the city, you know, all the different boroughs. And then you have the New England states. And, you know, you can go up to Connecticut and go all up that way. So, and it's all different ethnic diversities there. Like everybody's there. It's like it's a melting pot. So everybody's there. So it really, really changed the game for me in New York. As far as stand-up anyway. But I did get on Chappelle's show when I was in New York.
Okay. So you talk about something really, really, really important in the comedian crafting. You said crafting your stand-up craft. And that's really important because stand-up is genre all by itself. So how has that been, you crafting your stand-up? Because a lot of stand-up comedians come and go, or the whole thing of comedic actress, but not really a stand-up, person. So talk a little bit about that, like stand-up, the craft of stand-up comedians.
Oh, it starts, you gotta be funny first. I think that's one of the criteria for a stand-up comedian. It was when I started anyway. Not so much anymore.
Not so much today.
Not so much anymore. But when I started, that was one of the criteria. And the way to hone it is you just have to constantly get on stage, you know.
Yes.
You have to always get on stage. And I think through this pandemic and not working like I normally work, that's the biggest thing that I miss is getting on stage.
Yeah. And so since you've been in LA, I always try to, pinpoint on this show, the Hollywood Now is the Hollywood experience encompassing that. So what was your welcoming experience like? What was your coming to Hollywood? How was your experience when you first came here?
I didn't like it when I first got here. It's a different town, I think, from anywhere else. You have to adjust. And the adjustment period, it's not like even a normal adjustment, you know, because they do things different in this town. Like when I say adjust, I mean like 2-year adjustment, something like that. But once you get adjusted and once you meet kindred spirits and you get into the flow of the Southern California life, and, you know, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else now. So it's like, it's the bomb to me. So once I got adjusted, it began to work for me. And I love living here.
Yeah, that was a similar experience I think that I had, and I think most people have. Your first impression of it is like, okay, this is where. But once you've been here and you begin to amalgamate and become a Los Angelino, you get it. You find yourself like you get it. You get how they take it at first, and you understand. But you also get people who are here and why they act the way they act as well. You kind of like you get it, you know.
Oh yeah, once you get it acclimated, I mean, some people just not gonna like it, But if you give it a chance, and once you get acclimated, you should fall in love with it. And then you put the cherry on the top with the weather and the beaches and the all of that. Yeah, you should be fine. I mean, who doesn't want beautiful weather year round? And I'm from DC. And I don't like snow and rain. And when I go back to the East and it rains, you would never think I was born and raised there. Because I'm like, oh,
it's cold.
It's raining 3 days in a row. Like, really?
So, it always rains 3 days in a row. You like, but
oh my goodness, get the monsoon and then you go and it's cold and whew. So once you get acclimated, you gotta give it a chance though.
Gotta give it a chance.
Gotta give it a chance. Sit down and give Southern California a chance and you'll like it. You'll be riding around after a while singing Tony, Tony, Tony. It never rains in Southern California. I see you when I get there.
They tell me.
Right.
No, but that's
and they
so
tell me.
That's so true, man. But who are some of the most comics that influence you the most? Who some of the comics that influenced you?
I think one of the people that influenced me probably the most before I had done stand-up and I was a fan of and would watch, like it would be like when I was growing up, it would be stand-up shows that came on like midnight, like on the few channels we had. Like I think it'd be like way midnight or maybe a NBC or a CBS. And I saw Marsha Warfield and I really liked her style. And I would say that Marsha really influenced me a lot.
Man.
Yeah, so I would see her stand. This would be killing it. Like I liked her point of view. You know, I liked the way she told her jokes.
She wasn't no joke.
Yes, I like the fact that she was straightforward. So I think that really impressed me the most as a stand-up. And I like and the other greats in their own ways, but definitely the one person I would have to say is Marsha Wolf.
Man, I forgot about, that is crazy. Marsha Wolf. And she had a TV show, Night Court.
Night Court.
Man, woo. And she had her own talk show for a minute.
Yeah, she held it down.
She was doing her thing. And she reminded me of Shamel Hensley on What's Happening Now. What's Happening?
Yeah.
Shirley, she reminded me of her too. Shirley, she was funny as well. She reminded me of her. That was on What's Happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that man, that's amazing. That's crazy. And so, in stand-up comedy and in acting, like lots of times, that's the hope that you get acting jobs, you do film, and like how do stand-up prepare you for that? Like going on the sets and applying for like Hollywood roles and stuff.
You gotta say, I took acting classes in New York. I took acting classes in LA, so I did take some acting classes to be prepared, you know, to get how it works. And I think if you're a quick study and you go to some classes and you learn pretty good, you'll be pretty good, and then your humor will do the rest for you.
Yeah.
So you really, I think a lot of stand-up, that humor kind of like give us a pass, you know what I mean?
But they also say comedians are some of the best actors. Like, I mean, all the movies that I watch with comedians in, they made the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they made the movie. Like, it's funny, you know? A movie with a storyline and no laughter, that's not a real movie, right? It's not a real movie.
It's our wit. So that wit carries you a long way. And then a lot of us say, you know, you got this natural thing about you, and we act out on stage, and we act out in real life a lot of times, you know, so that pretty much is what it is.
Well, I'm going to read a little bit of your bio because you got some great credits. I mean, you did the tropical movie. You did you worked with Wanda Sykes. You worked with Tyler Perry, and you worked on, of course, Tom Joyner morning show. What is it like working with great people like that, like Dave Chappelle and Wanda Sykes? What's that was like?
A blessing.
Woo.
You need those kind of you need those kind of connections to get you over the hump. No, it's fun, you know, and it helps you in your career. It makes you feel like, you know what, I am doing the right thing. I'm moving in the right direction here, if that's what you want to call it. But it's Dave was great. Wanda, excellent. You know, working on the Tom Joyner show. I mean, what? Working with the Holy Grail of radio.
Man.
You know, so all those experiences were great, and all those experiences definitely kept the trajectory of my career going in the direction that it's going.
Man, and you used the word that I often use because whenever I'm at a Hollywood event or wherever I'm somewhere where there's a lot of Hollywood stars in the building, and if I had to think of one word, that would be the word out there, greatness. Like all this like greatness.
Yeah.
Like how this tenacity, this triumph of just all the same adversity we all face, but somehow they persevered, you know? And because it's not easy, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not easy. And you just got to keep working, stay true to the game, I think, James. And if you keep working and stay true to the game, work at your craft, you know, people will gravitate toward you, and that's been my experience anyway.
Yeah.
People gravitated toward me, like me, and you know they like my funny and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you have a southern undertone. Where that come from? Because you're from DC, but and also I guess the timing of when you talk, like the undertone of a southern accent makes it even more funny. Like, what did that even come from?
But DC is in the South.
Okay.
DC is across the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
Nobody wants to believe that, I guess, because it's where the government is.
Yeah.
But if we come, it's across the Mason-Dixon line, which means it is in the South. And most of the people in DC migrated from the South. Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina. They came a lot of them came from the South. So,
I didn't know that. You taught me something. I didn't even know that. You taught me something. Yeah. I didn't know.
But I'm like original Washingtonian. You know, this original Washingtonian. You know, so we do. It's a lot of people in DC that sound the way that I sound. Wow. But I didn't even realize until people started telling me that I was so very Southern.
Well, I don't know about
that.
Like,
you are Southern. You from the South. You are Southern, and I was like, okay. Well,
I thought it was part of your act because when you talk, I thought you kind of like do it on purpose or whatever because it makes what you say more funny. It's like, oh my God, it's hilarious because of the how it sounds and your timing. It's like, oh my God, that was hilarious. That's funny.
I'm not a gimmick act, James. It's all me.
Yeah.
I don't use gimmicks, James.
If you can just for a second, Dom, what was it like working with Tyler Perry?
That was so dope. And let me tell you my experience with. First of all, when he called, I was extremely excited about that.
Is it really you?
Right. He was really cool. You know, when I met him, he was really cool and he was really nice, took good care of me down there. But I think the most exciting thing for me was, so he's on the set and he's directing and he's multi-talented. So he's acting, he's directing, he's writing, you know, he has it all. But the biggest thing to me was we were on set. And then all of a sudden, you know, we're standing there and we talk. You know how set is. You wait, then you shoot, then you wait. So we in one of the waiting times. And he wasn't around. And all of a sudden, when he came back, he was dressed like Medea.
Wow.
And that was the most exciting thing to me. When he got out that car, I was like, damn, there go Medea. You know what I'm saying? So it was really, really like, that was the most dope part to me too. Wow. And you know where his studio is, that's where we filmed the movie, on his studio. Wow. You know, before he did all the renovations and everything. And I was really pumped about that because I was so proud about it when I rode on that studio and I was like, look at this studio, look at this property. Like, that was a real inspiring thing to me. So big up to Tyler Perry. People say what they want to say about Tyler Perry, but Tyler Perry is he hires black actors and actresses. Nobody's saying that he's perfect or whatever. None of us are, but he hires black, and he had groundbreaking balls to me. Yeah, and big ups to him. You know,
can't say too much because he did what we thought a lot of them others would have did way before.
Yeah,
you know? But he did. You know, and so that alone gets respect whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, you gotta respect that.
Put that K on it.
Respect his hustle. You gotta respect where he, you know, how he got to where he is. Yeah. You can't take that from him.
What was the best advice that anybody in the game who's been in the game before you or somebody you look up to? What was the best advice they gave you?
I had several people give me different advice. Cheryl Underwood gave me some advice that I was going to take Def Jam, right?
Underwood. Oh,
Cheryl Underwood.
I love me some Cheryl Underwood.
I love me some Cheryl Underwood too. I was taping Def Jam. It was my first time. So she was just asking me, you know, how you feel. And I had met her through working in DC. I had worked in DC with her. And I'm a younger comic than she is. And when I say younger comic, I'm not necessarily saying age, but I'm talking about when people say a younger comic, we're talking in terms of years in the game. So I'm a younger comic than her. And I always listen to the people that came before me because they had some knowledge. They didn't get here just off of, you know, something got them here. So they have knowledge. And I'm always open to listening, get knowledge and wisdom, you know. So it was, she said, how you feel? I said, I feel good. And she said, okay, let me tell you something. I don't care if your ass bomb from city to city to city.
Yeah.
Bitch, don't bomb on this Def Jam. That 35 millimeter, it's unforgiving. They're gonna show you, they're gonna talk about it forever, never again. And I was like, okay. She also told me too, she said, you're a woman in this business, and it's okay sometimes to let them know you're a bitch. That's all right. She said sometimes you gotta flow like that. You know what I'm saying? To be respected. So she dropped jewels on me. Mike Epps dropped jewels on me. Mike Epps was a person that told me I needed to leave my hometown. He said, if you're going to give yourself a shot, Dom, you need to move on. You know, because Mike from Indianapolis. He said, I had to leave my hometown. We have to leave our comfort zones. And it was great information. And I listened. It was one of the best things. It was the best thing that I did for my career was leave my hometown. Because it opened the world up to me, you know. It opened me up to different experiences, different people. And it was really what I needed to be the comic that I am now.
No, Mike Epps, I mean, he's also another great artist, a great person. And I think that's really what really resonates with someone when how you begin to just accomplish what you accomplish, but still remain grounded to where it means something to people. You still you touch people, you know?
Dave Chappelle gave me advice on the Chappelle show. Now, you know what he did on the Chappelle show, but I was taping filming a movie called 30 Years to Life.
30 Years to Life.
And I was filming that movie, and we filmed it in New York, and Dave just happened to be walking up the street. So when I saw him, I walked over there, you know, because I love Dave. Not only that, he my homeboy. He from DC, you know, he from DC. So I was like, what's up, Dave? So he's like, hey. He said, this feel good, huh? I said, it does. And he said to me, he said, just remember, humility is free. And I never forget, he said, humility don't cost you nothing, Dom. I said, all right, I got you, Dave.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
You got it.
He said, it's free. And then he just walked on up the street on about his business, going the way he was going.
Man.
So a lot of people, Tracy Movie sold into my life. And I have had a lot of people on this journey pay it forward. You know what I mean?
Pay it forward. So what are some of who is somebody that you desire to work with and you have not worked with them yet? Because you work with so many great people. Who do you want to work with?
We be here all night. But you know, I look at a lot of dramas and stuff like that. I do look at comedies. Like I want to work with Whoopi Goldberg. I want to work with Shirley MacLaine. You know what I mean? I want to work with Al Pacino. Denzel Washington, you know, those type of people. I can't name everybody, James, because when I look at the show, I'm like, yeah, I want to work with them. You know, I want to work with Jennifer Lewis. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? I want to work with these type of people. I'm looking at them. I want to work with Angelou Ellis. You know, that played Maddie Moore's Clock in the Clock Sisters movies. So, you know, so I have different people, like, and I know I left people off the list.
Yeah, you did good. You work with great people, and you name some great people you want to work with. I mean, it's just really amazing. And when you, like you say, when you begin to walk in there, it's like, what keeps you grounded, or why should you stay grounded? And all the stuff you learn, the ins and outs of Hollywood. That's really what this show is about, the ins and outs. You know what I'm saying? And people want to know, how do I get started, or how do I sustain? You know, and that's so important, because when we share this information, you know, it really could change lives when you receive it in the right way, you know, because it's true. And when somebody great telling you that, it's like, okay, now they said that. Because what I know, I come across you know, we up there in the billions now. We billionaires now. You come
Mm-hmm.
for 50 mil, 100 mil, and it's like they act so more humble than the $2. I'm like, you got a couple of, you got $1 million, they 200 million. They said stay humble. I'm like, what's going on around here?
But sometimes I believe those people were that way before they got money.
Yeah.
The money just made it worse. They were always those type of people.
Yeah.
You know, that I think if it's a lot of arrogant people that don't have nothing but some fresh tennis shoes.
My family.
Your family.
My family.
You don't have nothing but some fresh tennis shoes on, and they arrogant, and you can't tell them nothing. They ass on their shoulder. I don't know. I'm just not that type of person. It takes too much energy to be yourself. Then you gonna add somebody. You know?
Add something. Yeah.
Now you gonna make up somebody. So now you worried about two people: the real you and the fake you. The person you to build. I don't have the energy to build that. You gotta take it or leave it.
It sounds exhausting. So I know
it gotta be exhausting.
It gotta be exhausting. So what is your dream role?
Like that, and you like, okay, have at it, but you're gonna do that by yourself.
By yourself. What is your dream role, Don? What's your dream role?
My dream role would probably be mom's maybe. That would probably be my dream role. I think I could do that pretty good.
Wow.
So that would probably be my dream role.
Wow, mom maybe.
Yeah, that would be dope, I think. You know?
All she had was a chair, right? She didn't use, she used a chair?
When people stand up. But I think I would be good at it because she could talk that talk. You know what I mean? She could just talk shit like that.
She didn't have no gimmicks or nothing. She was just on the stage talking.
She ain't had no gimmicks. She had a character, you know.
Yeah, character.
Rose was a character.
Yeah,
but she wasn't no gimmicky character to be like that. She was this character, and she was mom's, but she was laying the real down, and she talked that talk.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that would be good.
Wow, that's amazing. So we just want to sum it up to, like, as far as, you know, a lot of stuff going on today, a lot of Hollywood stars want to use their celebrity in different ways, and a lot of controversy about, are Hollywood stars more vocal, less vocal? Should they be vocal? What should they say in the media? So what's your feel? We can conclude with that, but what's your take on that about Hollywood lending their celebrity to make a difference in what they're saying in the media?
You saying, so you asking me, should celebrities speak up?
Okay, should they speak up, number one? And then what should when they're saying what they're saying, it's important to not necessarily if they disagree, but if they kind of be encouraging. You think now it's time to be, a lot of them was vocal about their dissatisfaction with what's happening. You think that's kind of smart for a celebrity to do that, or should they just say something encouraging, or should they just just be truthful? What should they be saying in this time?
Well, celebrities are leaders.
Yeah.
So it always helps if you speak up and speak your mind. But celebrities are people too, with their own beliefs in the way that they feel about things and the way that they handle things.
Yeah.
You know, activism is not for everybody.
Not for everybody.
You know, people show activism in different ways. It might not be speaking up, but it might be buying food, or it might be things behind the scenes that you show your activism. Yes, if you speak up, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't speak up, you know,
you can't say they're not doing
individual
nothing. You don't know what they're doing. You can't say they ain't doing nothing.
You can't say you ain't doing nothing because you don't really know what they're doing. So you can't really say that. And it's an individual thing about them speaking up. But if you can't speak up for what's going on right now, you shouldn't probably speak up about other things. If that's your stance, like if you're not going to participate in what's happening in with Black Lives Matter now, and the corner that's trying to be turned now, when things that aren't as important, you shouldn't speak up on that either. So if you're not one to speak up, don't ever, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this is a pivotal point as far as it pertains to people of color.
Yes.
So even if you don't get on a soapbox or anything, like tweeting, Instagram, you know, but if you're not vocal at all, but I think a lot of them have been vocal.
I think so.
Have been vocal for the most part. I know Don Lemon said something about they wouldn't come on his show. He wanted a lot of celebrities to come on his show.
Yeah.
But it's a catch-22.
Catch-22.
It is, to be honest, because celebrities, they are in a business, and a business that's hard on celebrities of color.
Yeah.
It's hard for celebrities of color to get ahead.
Yes.
It's very hard for them, and sometimes I think they don't want to hurt relationships. They work hard to build relationships, and those relationships and things, whether you believe it or not, in this business will be held against you.
Will be held against you.
Yes, and some of them don't want to take the risk of losing their livelihood.
Yeah.
And and you see that it happens.
A real issue.
It's a real issue, and it's a very, very, in my opinion, thin line.
And it would be hypocritical if I didn't understand that. If I didn't have any sympathy,
you have to understand
it would be hypocritical.
You have to understand the plight of people of color in entertainment. I had a friend of mine tell me one time, we were talking about the plight of entertainment for people of color, and she told me they hold against us the way that we age.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we can be 50 years old and not look 50 years old.
Yeah.
They hold that against us. So, I mean, it's really intricate like that. So I can't really be angry with a person that says, I can't take this risk. I have a family. I have people depending on me financially. I carry a heavy load. So I can't get on the soapbox, or I can't go on CNN and express the way that I feel and turn and risk the possibility of having my benefactors not want to deal with me again. And they have to really look in the mirror and think about that. Is it right? Hey.
Unless Don Lemon got an HR hookup at CNN.
Don Lemon, he's saying that, but he is at work.
Yeah, at work.
He's at work telling you to do that. This entertainment, this not a 9-to-5 job like that. A lot of us at home right now.
Yeah.
Most of us.
Yeah, so please end with tell people what you're working on, tell me your social media handles, tell them how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so my social media handle is my name, Dominique, Dominique, Comediane, Comedi. It's comedy. It's just with an I. And then Silver Wilkes from the Tom Joyner Morning Show told me, that's not right, Nick. That's not comedy. That's Comedi. And I live with it. Now I'm the queen of Comedi. So that's my Twitter handle, my Instagram handle. Facebook is Dominique Comediane. I'm working on the new season of, they doing a Boondocks reboot.
Okay. With
Aaron McGruder, so I'll be on the reboot of the Boondocks.
Okay, congrats. Okay.
I'm also on the show called Way Back Black on BET Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, so check that out. I have a special out. You can check it out on Tubi. It's a streaming network. Or that's for the actual live, the stand-up taping. You can see that on the television on Tubi. It's a streaming network. There's also an album, and you can get that on Google Play, Spotify, Apple, all the streaming platforms.
Wow.
So you can get that on there. And then I'll be back on tour once we get out this coronavirus. So look for me at a city, in a city near.
Thank you so much for doing the platform for me, and just stay encouraged, keep doing what you're doing. We're going to be doing great things in the future together as well. So thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I appreciate you.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye, James.
All right.